Hello, SNA fans. This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. And man, what a night two draft! Even though it was like a part two of SmackDown's night one edition when they were picking drafts. But other than that, like it still was a great show. And yeah, it was the Monday Night Raw edition of the Night 2 draft, live in Kansas City, Missouri. And yeah, we're going to be going down what exactly went down. And I'll say what a very tremendously great show. Especially the main event match. Like, that was definitely a match that you do not want to miss. But let's start off with the Judgment Day and Logan Paul. We'll start off with Logan Paul first. Like, he pulled up right into the parking lot right in front of the building in Kansas City. Well, and then you won't believe, guess who he ran into and gave a handshake and a big hug to? None other than the three-time Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes. He said, "What's up to you?" and hello, and then yeah. And then guess who happened to be there as well? Another fellow champion in WWE, and that is the current World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. And he did the same. They said, "What's up?" They both walked in the building to get started on the show. And see who's exactly going to go from Raw to SmackDown or SmackDown to Raw or NXT to either SmackDown or Raw. We're going to start off with the man Becky Lynch making her entrance right into the ring. This is where she welcomed the Kansas City crowd. She was like, "Kansas City!" And their fans were cheering like, "Yay!" And then this is where she got to business, and had a little celebration, even though there's no balloons and confetti, other things like that. But you don't have to do that just to celebrate the latest title win from 7 nights ago. This is where Becky Lynch got on the promo saying she was basically wondering who's next in their title defense. She was like, but she mentioned before she got into that, this is where she started saying about nearly 6 years ago, back in 2018, on the Go Home edition of Raw at Survivor Series, and she pointed out, and this was happened in the exact same building in Kansas City. I believe it was the Sprint Center at the time, but now they changed it to the T-Mobile Center. But she was like, she happened to be right up in that spot right after she was bloodied up after getting knocked out by Nia Jax, right into that building, right into the upper right side of those stairs, posing up and showing, and that was the time where she was the man, and was the future Becky Two Belts, months before she became the Becky Two Belts. And then this where and she was like, and now look at me now, as nearly 6 years later, I'm your new women's world champion. I am saying the exact same damn thing. And then this is where fans are cheering like, "Yeah, you tell it, Becky. Yeah, we remember you back then." And that's when Patrick Mahomes was a rookie back at that time, when he was just getting started in the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is where fans are cheering, "Becky, Becky, Becky, Becky." And then this is where Becky Lynch then said, like, "Yeah, thank you." And she was like, and it's been over 2 years since the last time I held World Championship gold. And then fans are like, "Yeah, that's true." Even though you were a totally different Becky, you were big time at the time, and took the man character put on hold for a good year or two. But we're glad we have you back. And then this is where Becky Lynch was like, "Huh?" And this is where fans are like, "We love you, Becky. Yeah, well, we welcome you to our city." And this is where Becky Lynch was like, "Yeah." And this is where Pat McAfee hilariously gave Kansas City a nickname, saying, "It's more like Manza City here." And I was like, "Yeah, shout out to you, Pat McAfee, for that very phenomenal nickname for the city of the Midwest, I guess you could call it." But anyways, this is where then Becky Lynch they continue on the promo when they said, "You deserve it" to the man. This is where she thanked the Kansas City crowd. She was like, "Yeah, I love you guys, every single one of you. But now, holding the current women's world champion, my instinct is to hold it very tight and never let it go, because you never know." You never know when you can hold on to this championship again. And then it's not just for it. Like and yeah, and even though it's not meant for to behold, it's meant to be defending, and which I would gladly would do. And now that's what the main reason why I came out here tonight is to see who's next in line for myself. So Kansas City, we're gonna have to find ourselves a new tag number one contender, she said. And then then she was like, and I'm ready to fight. It's like, so you want some, come get some. She did not say that, but she was like, so whoever wants a piece of the man for her newly won women's championship, come on out here while you have the chance. And this is where Liv Morgan came out here. This is where she was like, oh, like, hey, Becky, like you did not expect me to come out here, did you? And the only reason why you're that women's championship is because of me. And then because I did exactly what you couldn't do, you couldn't do, perhaps failed to do at WrestleMania 40, and that is to take the championship away from Becky. I mean, from Rhea. Well, I'm not even saying it right now. But this is where then Becky Lynch then barked back and said, like, well, like that may be true, but if it hadn't been for but yeah, you may have got the championship right off of Rhea Ripley, but if it hadn't been for you, I probably wouldn't be the women's world champion. But yeah, how ironic it is that how ironic it is. What did she say? Like she said, like it's funny, like if it hadn't been for me for being champion, but like if it. Or what did she say? Like I forget what the way she said it, but yeah, but yeah. And she was like, and if you want a title shot, like I gladly give you one, but you had to put that to the test. And then this is where we got. And then this is where we got Nia Jax coming out there to interrupt her, and this is where we happenly to say, like, that's what it was. It was like, yeah, if it hadn't been for you, I probably wouldn't be women's world champion. But yet, like I did something that you couldn't do, and that is capture the women's championship. And if I took Rhea, put Rhea on the shelf, I would have been women's world champion. Like I would have done it. What you said, like if I was in your shoes, I would have done it better than you planned out to be. And this is where Nia Jackson came out there. This is where Nia Jax is not much of a Kansas City fan as much as yours truly is. This is where she was like, Kansas City, how rude of you, like of you booing me and giving me this very horrible welcome into y'all's home. And this is where fans were continuously boo, like if she was a big heavyset female version of Dominic Mysterio. And this is where she was like, and I should be women's world champion, but you know why? It's because of you two losers that gave me the disadvantage and eliminated me off that Battle Royal match. And then this is where Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan's like, really, like, she's really blaming us, even though it's maybe true in some ways, but we have to do that, or else like we wouldn't have a chance of beating you. And then this is where fans were chanting "loser" to Nia Jax. Now that made me and my mother laugh. And then my brother was like, "I am so done right now." And then this is where then Nia Jax was like the last time I was here on Monday Night Raw, like in this city, like I punched your favorite wrestler's nose in, like, and she had to be on the shelf for the next month or two. And the fans would be like, boo, boo. And this is where we got Liv Morgan start laughing, like, ha, ha, ha. Don't make me laugh, Nia. Like you're supposed to be a dangerous, scary destroyer, not a hilarious comedian. And this is where then Nia Jax was like, and and this is my last night being on Raw, but before I leave for good, I'm gonna take one of you with me. And this is where Liv Morgan's like, oh, shut the hell up. And this is where she super drop kicked her right out of the ring. Like before she could finish her sentence, saying like, "So, which one of you broads wanted to come with me?" And this is where it's like, "Never." Like we're, and then this is where she took a page out of Cat Williams' playbook on Friday After Next. She was like, "You're not in prison anymore." She drop kicks her right off the apron. This is where she nearly landed on her backside again. Luckily, she wasn't screaming out her HOLE, but but yeah, this is where it put it on to be a match for later on tonight on Monday Night Raw. This is where then we saw the main event, Jey Uso going in his trunk and grabbing his suitcase out. When they were outside of the building, this is where then Jey Uso then came out, getting ready for his match, like against the Judgment Day's JD McDonough and Finn Balor and Damian Priest. This is where we got Stephanie McMahon backstage, like getting ready to announce the drafts for both Raw and SmackDown. This is where we got on to the next one, which we saw Stephanie McMahon came out there. Well, welcoming Kansas City, like into with her announcing who the first draft picks are, like from the night 2 edition of the show. This is where we got her announcing who's going to Monday Night Raw is none other than who right here. The first round was Ludwig Kaiser and Ring General Junta on Monday Night Raw, and we had the Storm going on Friday Night SmackDown. This is where we got the third pick of the night of the first pick of Night 2's draft, which is the Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and the women's tag team champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane of the Kabuki Warriors, Damage Control heading over to Monday Night Raw. And it looks like we're finally going to see Bianca Belair, both Bayley and Bianca Belair are going to have a break from the Damage Control group. But unfortunately, they won't be taking a break from one another because they still don't trust each other, especially Bianca Belair. She's like the female version of Drew McIntyre of WWE. If you're gonna, she still has some kind of unforgiving vendetta against the role model and current WWE Women's Champion, so we could possibly see them battling out for the Women's Championship once again. But in the meantime, we're gonna possibly see Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill going after for the Women's Tag Team Championship and bring them back over to SmackDown, which I think that they should do. Then they can bring a new set of belts on Monday Night Raw, which will be the World Tag Team Championship. And let me know in the comments down below and what your thoughts to my opinion on this, by the way. But anyway, this is where we got the fourth pick, which is the second pick of Friday Night SmackDown, which we see the prize fighter making this remaining on Friday Night SmackDown. Kevin Owens, my boy KO, which is the same guy that I went to see on my first WWE event at the live event house show against facing against Austin Theory in the opener match on the Sunday Night Stunner live event. But anyways, but yeah, that was the first round draft. And let me know in the comments below if you're very happy for these wrestlers to stay in their respective brands. Well, the only thing the very amazing surprise was it was Damage Control moving over to Raw. Even though it's kind of predictable, but it was very exciting to hear that from the interim chairwoman of WWE and for chief brand officer, which I'm not sure if she still have that role, but I heard that she's going to be making occasional appearances every now and then in the new era of the Paul Triple H Levesque era. But anyways, this is where we got Imperium next. We got the Ling General taking on Xavier Woods in one-on-one match with Xavier Woods getting the first upper hand at the beginning of the match. He got him in a headlock. This is where he started hitting strikes on him until Gunther tried to throw him right to the right side. But this is where Xavier was like, "No, I'll never let go. I will never let go." And this is where Gunther then eventually pushed him anyway. He was like, "Too late." And this is where he tried to go for a knife fist chop. Xavier Woods ducked out of the way. This is where then Xavier Woods then went to the right to the left, ran through the left side. This is where the Gunther tried to go for a clothesline, but this is where then Xavier Woods ducks out of the way. This is where he runs to the right side. This is where he hits a baseball slide right under between Gunther's legs, like he does, like it's sliding dodge. This is where he hit the discus elbow that nearly made Gunther fell on the outside, but luckily fell right through the right side ropes. This is where then this is where we got Gunther to try to go close on him out to the left side, the other side, diagonal from the right. But this is where Xavier Woods grabs onto the ropes, made him fling right over the top rope. This is where Xavier Woods then went right to the right side. This is where he went to the left, hit a baseball slide, kick right into the face But this is where Gunther was nowhere home. He mysteriously and shockingly disappeared out of the house, and then he came out of nowhere from the back door, hit a big nasty stinging chop that Xavier Woods gonna be feeling until the next Monday morning. This is where he's like, I never felt as much pain in my like. For those fellow AEW guys, like, do not provoke him. It's not worth it. And then this is where then he throw him back in the ring. This is where he started doing more punishing pain to the former King of the Ring winner. This is where Xavier Woods this is where Gunther was like, "This is your hero?" Like. And this is where the screen went out a bit, and it showed the QR code, and I was wondering, like, that must have something to do with that Uncle Howdy angle, like that they're planning on doing, like, see what they're find out what this mystery guy is, like on who's doing his QR codes, which we all know, like, is the Uncle Howdy. Is the Uncle Howdy mystery thing, like? But let me know in the comments on who it could possibly be. Rumor has it that we could see the new form Wyatt family, but I don't know. Anything's possible in WWE, especially in their new era. But back to the match. This is where we got Gunther to start hitting knife edge chop right into the chest, and then start hitting an elbow strike in the right forearm right into the head of the former a dozen times of the WWE Tag Team Champion. This is where then we got him try to go for a jump suplex, but this is where Gunther then hit the elbow right into his face. But this is where Gunther hit the big single-handed chop right into his chest. To the point, I thought that Xavier Woods' chest would turn from brown to red. I was like, wow, like surprisingly, it did not turn red. But this is where then Gunther tried to go for his finishing maneuver. This is where then he tried to go for a power bomb, but this is where Xavier Woods flipped out of it. Super kicks him right in the gut. This is where super kicks him right to the face. This is where then Xavier Woods went right to the upper left side while Gunther went to the upper right side in a diagonal respective way. This is where Xavier Woods tried to hit the big forearm right to the face, but this is where Gunther flipped him right over right to the bottom side, hits a nasty chop. This is where then he went right up on the top rope. This is where he tried to go for a sideways suplex, like if he was Cesaro, which he's no longer in WWE. He went to All Elite Wrestling with his former fellow WWE guys, Danielson and Moxley, formerly known as Ambrose and Bryan. But anyway, this is where we got Xavier Woods, the count out of it, hit the chop right back in him. And I'm not sure if that was a good idea because as soon as Xavier Woods went right back on the top rope, this is where he hits a middle missile drop kick right onto Gunther. But this is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where Gunther kicks out at 2.1. This is where Xavier Woods was like, even though it's not needed my signature finisher, that should have been something. But Gunther did not phase that. Just not even a single teeny finger pinch bit. This is where we got Xavier Woods picks up Gunther. This is where he tried to go for a suplex, but this is where we got this is where Gunther then flips out of it. This is where he hits a big stinging chop right onto the chest, right onto Woods, and I think that was his disadvantage because like every time he hits that chop, Xavier Woods easily goes down. That's probably his kryptonite of the wrestling moves in the wrestling world. This is where we got Gunther to try to go for a clothesline, but this is where Xavier Woods shoulder tackles him shoulder bumps him right to the gut. This is where then he goes right in the middle of the road to try to go for a springboard tornado DDT, but this is where he gets pushed over by Gunther, and this is where his legs bend out like, my leg, and this is where he turned into Fred the Brownfish from SpongeBob SquarePants. And this is where he's screaming in his leg repeatedly, just like him. This is where he was like, "Get it off!" Like, and this is where he was tangled right into the ropes in a bad position. Like it looked like it could have just shredded right off if it was made out of barbed wire. Luckily, it wasn't. But luckily, it wasn't a barbed wire death match because Xavier Woods would have been definitely in trouble. But anyway, this is where the referee's got it right off. Where the referee then pushes Gunther in the way, but this is where Gunther's like, I don't give a damn about Xavier Woods, his legs being tangled up, like much more than my former arch enemy, main event Jey Uso. Don't give a damn what his cousin, the Tribal Chief, says. And this is where he started stomping on his leg right into the right side rope, so that was hanging off of it. It's like, no, stop it! I'm this referee's like, hey, like that's enough. Like you don't need to do anything. Like that, like he's already in a vulnerable position. This is where Gunther's like, so like he's not done. Like he haven't been submitted or lost by pinfall, at least not yet. but I can, and we can make this easier. Like if he is willing to forfeit the match for me. And then this is where Xavier Woods is like, never! And this is where Gunther started continuing doing more punishment to him as soon as they got back inside. And this is where he Irish whipped him right to the bottom left side. This is where he tried to hit him with a chop, but this is where Xavier Woods dodges and hit a chop of his own, which I'm not sure if that was a smart idea, but Gunther wasn't easily triggered like he would be when certain all elite members of the roster of another company does it. But this is where he's like, this is too easy. I already hit him with plenty of chops. Maybe that was the case, but this is where he kicks them like with a barely feasible kick right into the gut. This is where Xavier Woods bounces right off the bottom ropes. This is where he then gets body slam right into the bottom right corner side, right into the canvas. This is where Kofi Kingston was cheering on, like, come on, Xavier, you can do this. Like, don't let him do this to you. Like, you got this. Like, and this is where Xavier was grabbing onto his leg because he was like, I don't think I can do the rest of the match. This is where Gunther hit a big stinging chop that he's gonna feel right into his back until the middle of next week in the beginning of May. This is where then he got him in a tree of woe position. This is where Gunther was like, this is my time to show that I'm still relevant even without the Intercontinental Champion. Like, I was like, maybe you are in a way, but not really like in the main event status, at least not yet. But not until like you are like in the stages of a contender's position. This is where then Gunther then grabbed onto his leg. That was a disadvantage. Like, this is where he had to try to go for a single-legged Boston Crab. This is where we got at first Xavier Woods flipped out of it, but he managed to get it right back on. Got the single leg Boston Crab. This time it was worse. He was right onto making his leg bend sideways and this is where Kofi Kingston was like a second away from throwing the towel down that for Xavier to surrender. This is where Xavier, no, that won't be necessary. No, throw it off and then throw it out. And this is where Kofi's like, okay. And this one threw it right out, which was a smart move from the Dreadlock Dynamo. This is where then he started bending sideways, start going stuff that, all right, are you going to surrender now? This is where Xavier was like, all right, I surrender. And he started tapping out. And your winner of this match of the opener, Dealing General, like what Samantha Irvin would say, Gota! But anyway, yeah, he won the match. I guess I'll give him thunderous congratulations for beating one of the most charismatic superstars in all of WWE. And what are your thoughts on this match? I would give it about the third best match of the night, in my opinion. But let me know what y'all would give it in y'all's rankings onto reviewing Monday Night Raw tonight on the second night edition of the draft. But let's move on to the next slide. Is where we got main event Jey Uso coming in, being interviewed by Kathy Kelly. And this is where he was like, this is where Kathy Kelly was asking like questions like, he was like you were the earliest pick from night one's draft on Friday Night SmackDown, being the first pick of Friday Night SmackDown. Oh no, that's right, the first pick of Monday Night Raw. That's what this is where she was asking questions like you. Like, what's your thought on the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at Backlash? And this is where Jey Uso's like, man, that's a girl, that's a good question. Like, well, like I'm not only I'm gonna be the first draft pick of Monday Night Raw, like what's the pressure is like, or no, I'm gonna say like I don't know what's the most worst pressure in my career right now is the first pressure is me being the first draft pick of Monday Night Raw, or me being the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. Either way, but either way, there's no pressure in when it comes to main event Jey Uso of getting that main event opportunities that he deserves. And then I'm gonna step in at my own friends at Backlash, show Damian Priest who's the real main eventer in this brand, and that is to take away his World Heavyweight Championship. And he needs to shout out his catchphrase, yeet. And this is where fans heard him in the back, and there's like yeet right back in him. This is where And this is where then he was about to leave. This is where Kathy Kelly's like, all right, well, before you go, like, I have another question to ask you. Like, while you're here tonight, like, while you're still back here tonight on Raw, like, I want to ask you, what's your thoughts on Logan Paul, like, being here tonight, at the T-Mobile Center? This is where he's like, man, like, yeah, don't worry about that. Like, and he was like, and I'm not gonna hate on him. Like, I'm totally, despite he knocking me out almost 2 years ago, but I'm glad we signed the Paul brother. Like, even though, like, I would have preferred more of the winning Paul, the winning brother, or something like that, or the undefeated brother. But let me know in the comments below for those who watch Monday Night Raw to tell me what he specifically said. Yeah. That's what he said. That's what he said. He said, he's like, I wish it was the one that had the actual winning record in the fighting world, which he was referring to his brother Jake Paul, which he's, I believe, undefeated right now. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on Jey Uso's comments about that. Well, let's move on to the next slide. We got this is where we got this kid, like, that was I believe was a survivor from that attack from that crazy gunman from that Kansas City Chiefs parade. Like this is where he came out there with the two Chiefs linemen, like with the on this like a little hero's welcome. That's what it was. It was a little hero's welcome from this kid that was a survivor from the mass deadly shooting, like in downtown Kansas City, Missouri, from the parade for the Kansas City Chiefs. From that very crazy, irresponsible, and insane person that had that gun and started shooting everybody that was in attendance from the parade, like. But yeah, this is where Michael Cole announced this, like, of them getting a little moment of welcoming the Kansas City fans to Monday Night Raw before the show went on the air, like about an hour prior to the show. But yeah, this is where we got the Chiefs lineman, the Super Bowl champs from 2022, 2023 to 2023 to 2024 that won back-to-back Super Bowls. Paul Contreras and Trey Filters, that's what their names are, which they were in the building with Patrick Mahomes, which I'm going to talk about later on in just a minute because he's going to be involved in the next slide. But yeah, what are your thoughts on to this? Whether if y'all KC fans or not, let me know in the comments section right down below. But this is where we got Logan Paul and I Show Speed. Then announced who's the next draft picks on the second round. This is where we got Logan Paul saying, like, before we go do this, how about we do an announcement for our shout out and announcement to our boy, 3-time Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes. It's in attendance tonight, which that's what Samantha Irvins did. This is where she was like. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the NFL 3-time Super Bowl MVP, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. And then that's where they showed 3 of his rings, and then their fans were cheering and going crazy, like, yeah. And I was doing the same thing while I was in front of, like, when I was watching with my mom and brother, like, we're cheering, like, right in front of his flat screen TV screen. Here's where they showed the rings. So 3 of them from 2019, 2020, 2023, or 2022 to 2023, 2023 to 2024, which he won recently about a few weeks. Here's where we got Logan Paul. Then did a shout out to Kansas City, like, yo, what up, KC? And fans like, yeah, we see. We're like, most of them were a huge fan of the YouTuber. This is where they had him and I Show Speed, and then they had the Prime Energy drinks, which I believe I Show Speed had the the blue raspberry, while Logan Paul got the strawberry lemonade. Sorry about the tongue tie, by the way. But anyway, this is where they announced the draft after Samantha Irvin announced Patrick Mahomes being in attendance tonight. But the pick was on Monday Night Raw on the second round was none other than the Chicago-made superstar CM Punk. and he's going to stay remaining on Monday Night Raw. And I want to give a huge thunderous congratulations to him, and he's going to be possibly be in a future match with the Scotsman. Like, for one, Drew McIntyre had a very huge hatred onto the Second City Saint, and also too, like Drew McIntyre trying to get some revenge for him being, and I quote, reason why he cost him the World Heavyweight Championship, which that's 50% true, but we're gonna see who exactly is the better man once they face, whether if it's sooner, like around SummerSlam, or next year at WrestleMania. Just giving out wild guesses that could possibly be a potential match between the Chicago-made star and the Scottish Warrior. But until then, just keep speculating in the comments section right down below while we're going to go to who's going to pick in the second draft pick on the on Monday Night Raw's third pick of the night, which was none other than the almighty Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, and B-Fab, the Pride, remaining on Friday Night SmackDown. Even though like it was a bit too obvious and predictable, but you never know. Like, they could win the WWE Tag Team Championship. Maybe that's the reason why they kept them on SmackDown. They want to keep everything, maintain the status quo. Like, with the WWE Championship staying on SmackDown, while the World Tag Team Championships, I mean, not just the Tag Team Championship, but the World Championships, respectively, remain on Monday Night Raw. I see what they were trying to do right here. But even if the Street Profits does not beat A-Town Down Under this Friday on the Go Home Edition show of Backlash, they would have, like, I still would be feuding with them, and it would make logical sense to keep them onto the SmackDown brand, because that's the first reason, and secondly, because Bianca Belair is already going to be there, and she could possibly win the Women's Tag Team Championship with her tag team partner, Jade Cargill. And and you know how the rules are with wrestling couples, like if they're in the same company, they want to keep them in the same brand, whether if it's on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, unless you're Tiffany Stratton and Ludwig Kaiser, which we're going to see them being in the opposite brands. But let me know which specific brands they're going to be landing to, respectively, in the comment section right down below, which I kind of already spoiled it, so I understand what's the point of me telling you guys this. But back to the review video. This is where we got the fourth pick of Monday Night Raw, which is the third selection of the second round, which was none other than the monster of all monsters, Braun Strowman. And if we see a certain revamp of a bearded family again, even though we can't bring back Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, and Brody Lee, Luke Harper, aka John Huber, back, but we can do some kind of a reform of that certain family with some new members, like, which we got a couple of them. But yeah, you never know, like, what where this associate of the Eater of Worlds can land up to, considering we see the monster of all monsters landing on Monday Night Raw. Anything's possible in this era of WWE. But this is where we do got the reason why we won't be seeing Ludwig Kaiser and Tiffany Stratton being together anytime soon, because we've seen the center of the universe remaining on Friday Night SmackDown, and in the fourth pick of Monday Night Raw's fourth pick of the night as well, Tiffany Stratton's going ahead in the Monday Night Raw, which I believe one of the reasons why is because Bayley's on SmackDown, and she's going to remain there because she's the WWE Women's Champion. And either way, whoever walks out of Backlash as champion, we're going to see them remaining on the blue roster. But let me know in the comments below about that. Like, even though, like, it was kind of, like I said, predictable and obvious, but it needed to be done. Like, even though, like, but there was some switches and some surprising names that got called up to the main roster, which I'm gonna get to in the next round, in the third and fourth round, and maybe even the fifth round, I believe. But yeah, just stay tuned for that. But anyways, we got This is where we got Logan Paul's like, enough about the drafts picks now. Like, now we need to celebrate from our boy, the 3-time Super Bowl champ, Pat Mahomes. And this is where then he then continue on the promo saying, like, and what he said, and he's like, look, I got here to KC, and what happened? And this is where, and this was like, and he was like, and now like Jay Uso is running his damn mouth, and look where he's at right now. Like I'm pointing out the truth right now, and fans are chanting what? And I was like, luckily Kurt Angle's not there. Like even though as much as I would have loved to see him live in this edition of Monday Night Raw, but luckily he wasn't there. Probably would have been for the best because his night would have been ruined because fans were chanting what in the night, and if I seen Kurt Angle there, I would be saying, cover your ears so you won't have to hear this, so your night won't be ruined. I would not like to see someone get their night ruined, especially if it's someone that I like to see, like whether if it's a favorite wrestler or a family member or a friend, I would not like to see them have their night ruined. But either way. But anyway, this is where when Logan Paul called this fan that was wearing a referee shirt a loser, and I was dying and saying laugh my ass off. This is where we got. This is where then these Logan Paul's like, okay, first we got Kansas City, second we got Patrick Mahomes, and then now I need to tell you, uneducated fan, that I would give you a play-by-play. Like I'm gonna give you a little play-by-play footage, like on this Saturday for Backlash, and then this is where fans are what like.